Rob, you sound a little bit frustrated after the Saracens match. How's it been this week?
Yeah, good. Players have trained very well. I mean, not so much frustrated after the Saracens game. I think it's probably a little bit more frustrated still with the hangover from the Sale game, where we obviously felt we put ourselves in a position to win, and we're playing some very good rugby for periods, and just let a game slip away for us, for various reasons. Now, that's ultimately frustrating, because if you look at some more points gathered there, Saracens away is always going to be a tough game. You think about the whole occasion there. And I think it's just probably more of a double frustration that we weren't a bit more competitive, following on from letting a game slip away that we felt we should have won. So it's probably not a reaction to one game; it's more a reaction to a couple of games. But sometimes that's how it has to be, and we've refocused this week just on some core basics. Obviously the pitch is drying up, hoping going to dry up a little bit now, and we can talk about the way we want to play and the things we want to do, and that's very much what we focused on. We've not run around all week trying to drastically change our game. That's kind of a recipe for disaster. What we have to do is just focus on all the core things that have made us a good side and have led to some good victories. So the good things that were there evidently in a large part of the Sale game, and have been there in our other good performances, and just focus on, like I say, a little bit the bigger picture and what we have to do to perform well. There is a reality. We've only lost one home game in the Premiership, so we're still a good side. It maybe feels a little bit different because it's been quite a while since our last home Premiership game, and I think that's why you've got to sometimes step back and see the bigger picture and just say, look, come on guys, let's remember when we're doing well, how we control games, how we control possession, and they've led to some very good results for us, and that's what we focus on this week. Just being honest about what we need to focus on.
Do you feel you sometimes learn more about your team anyway in defeat?
Yeah, sometimes. I think, as I say, you've got to be very careful you don't take any one game in isolation. I think when you start taking individual games in isolation and you start overreacting to them, you get on a spiral of doing something different or reacting in a different way every single week. And we've learned from our time in the Premiership, that's not really a recipe for success. The teams that ultimately come through times when they're not winning games are teams that stick at it, realise what works for them and is important for them, and gives them good performances, and just put some emphasis on that. Now, we've been a side that we've always looked to be developing our game over a period, and we've still got to keep pushing forward with that. But that's based on some kind of key fundamentals that we've got to keep working on. I'm very aware that, as an example, some of our issues at Sale weren't from guys not bothered about winning. They were almost from a team that was so desperate to win that when they felt a little bit of pressure in the second half come on, we didn't react to it very well, and that wasn't because we didn't care. It might have been because I think we probably cared a little bit too much, and a situation that wasn't really that pressurised when they scored their first points in the second half. Or I think we felt as a team the momentum was slipping, tried a little bit too hard to wrestle it back. We became a little bit penalty ridden, give up a yellow card, and all of a sudden a game where you're quite comfortable and you just have to follow through some good rugby just kind of slipped away from us. Now, it's not the worst quality to have as a team, to be desperate to win and for it to mean a lot to you, and so that's why we're relatively comfortable with the attitude of the squad, because they're working hard, they're training hard, and they want to win games of rugby, and they're hurting a little bit at the minute because they want to win more games, but what we have to do is channel that hurt the right way for this weekend, so that we're in the right frame of mind. We don't let pressure affect us in a negative way.
And we know exactly what sort of frame of mind Welsh are going to be in, because they're desperate for points, aren't they?
Yeah, they're desperate for points, but so are we. And I think we want to do well in the Premiership. We want to do well at home. We want to win games of rugby. So it's a very important game for us as well. And I think that's what I said. That's what we focus on this week, is remembering what makes us a good side, what we enjoy doing. We enjoy controlling possession, we enjoy playing rugby, and let's make sure that those are there, and they're the key fundamentals for where we want to go. We're not. I've said quite a few times that the season shouldn't hang on one game ever. If you're having a relatively solid season, and we're still having a solid season. If we don't win, we're still picking up quite a few bonus points. If the Saracens game got away from us, but other than that, all our games have been pretty tight affairs, and I think. You've got to remember that, and as I say, that's why you've got to sometimes keep revisiting the bigger picture, and not focus on one-offs.
What's the team news, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a few more guys available. Obviously, I've got to not give too much away at this stage. But you know, in some positions, we've got a couple of guys with niggly injuries kind of back and available for selection. And at the same time, you know, you lose other guys, and we're pretty comfortable with the squad we've got to select from. It's not a full strength squad by any means, but that doesn't mean that it's not a very strong squad. One that's, as I say, has trained very well this week so far. As I say, and we're expecting to put in a big physical performance this weekend.
In terms of Welsh, though, Rob, do you see a similarity with them almost to our first season, that they're desperate to win and fight for everything?
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly an 80-minute side, and you see that in virtually every performance they put in. And as I said, you know, the important thing for us, I think, is to just step back and, as I say, look at what makes us good and just focus on being ourselves. And I think Exeter at home, you know, the last couple of years when we've been ourselves and we've expressed ourselves and we've played well, we're a very good side. And as I said, you know, we've got a great respect for London Welsh. We play them a lot of times, but we almost have to step back from that and say, come on, let's start making things about ourselves. You know, maybe if there's one thing that's happened in the last couple of weeks is the games have been a bit about the opposition. You know, at Sale, you know, in the second half we got a little bit about, you know, Sale being desperate to avoid relegation. You know, and you know, they scrapped and fought and niggled a little bit and got away with it and caused a few issues for us and with the referee. Last week, you know, it was all, at the end of the day, you look back and you go, well, was it more about Saracens' new pitch and all the media and all the stuff that was behind Saracens? Well, we let it get like that. And what we have to make sure we do is we make this weekend about Exeter.
In your programme notes this week, you allude to 7 weeks since our last Premiership. It's nice to get back on home soil almost, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's sometimes what you've got to remember. You know, it's been a while since our last home Premiership game, and I think, as I said, you know, we've still, bigger picture, we've still got a very good home record, one of the best in the Premiership, and we mustn't forget that. But at the same time, we've got to remember what's made that home record so solid and produce that kind of performance.
Thank you.